Join me here at Oxlease Lake on the linear fisheries complex. Working at Topham Manor, I'm always being asked how I tackle these busy day-to-get venues. We at CC Moors have decided to take a few of the most popular questions and try and give you guys an insight onto how I would approach these busy waters. And you never know, I might even catch one or two along the way. So if you arrive at one of these day-to-get venues, on let's say a Friday evening, there's only one or two swims left, don't let it get you down, don't panic. There's a really good chance that a few fish may have even been pushed into those areas. With the sort of angling pressure around the lakes, those fish will react to that and they will go to those pockets of water. So just approach your session exactly how you would, exactly how you're confident, and there's a good chance you could even get one or two quick bites. Failing that, it's always worth having a wander round, speaking to a few of the anglers, and maybe even one or two anglers will be leaving over the course of the weekend. And if you're not catching in that particular swim, you could possibly drop in there for like the second half of your session. And sometimes being in the right swim for 24 hours is better than being in the wrong swim for 48 hours. So if I'm coming to a venue sort of for the first time or fresh and don't know a lot about it, I'll tend to sort of try a bright one on one of my rods and a match to hatch on the other and sort of see how the session pans out. Classic example was this session now. I started off with a straightforward tuna hook bait and a Northern Special, and it was clear that I was getting the bites on the bright ones. So I've switched all my rods up to that now. Failing that, always ask the bailiffs or the sort of fishery owners or people that work there, because at the end of the day, their livelihoods rely on people coming here time and time again, catching fish, so they're never going to give you bad information, so it's always worth taking their advice. If I haven't seen that much activity in the swim, I won't go too mad with the bait. I'll tend to just put sort of maybe 8 to 10 of the medium spoms in. I'll then sort of play it by ear and sort of see how it goes and let the sort of fish tell you what they want to do. If you get quite a quick bite or you start getting shows over the bait, it'll definitely be worth maybe putting a little bit more in. And on the other hand, if you're not getting bites, just sort of fish it until you do, or you feel like you should have had a bite. If you're getting liners or whatnot, it's you sort of almost got to let the fish sort of tell you what they want to do. My go-to mix on these venues is it's a really simple one, to be fair. We've got good old faithful sweet corn. Put that in. I've really got into like my crumb boilie this year and sort of putting a bit of hot water to sort of like mush it right up. Put a few liquids in there as well. So I'll put a bit of that in there. And then just as a token gesture, I'll put a little bit of hemp in there as well. I just think that sort of stays in the swim a little bit longer than the bigger food items. Keeps the fish grubbing around, coming back, And it's never done me too bad, so definitely worth a go. That's completely dependent on the type of venue I'm going to and the type of baiting approach I'm taking there. If, like here, I'm fishing over particle, I'll tend to fish 2 or maybe 3 rods on one spot. 1, the bait will go further, and 2, you can sort of amass a big hit that way. Or if I go to somewhere that's lower stocked and the approach is sort of more boilie fishing, I'll tend to sort of spread the rods out and sort of bait up each area, and then sort of let the fish show me what they want to do. And if I get a bite on one of those rods, I may move one of my other rods onto that area, and hopefully that will produce you 1 or 2 more bites. My advice would be, in that situation, to stick to a range that's comfortable to you. There's no point trying to overdo yourself, putting spods everywhere, spraying them everywhere. At the end of the day, that's not going to catch you any more fish. If you stick to your guns, fish tidy, you'll definitely put more fish on the bank. I'd always suggest to everybody to do what they're confident in and maybe start with that approach, but always go to these sort of venues with an open mind and maybe have a few different hook bait options. If the fish are all over you and you feel like you should have had a bite, why not try a wafter or a bottom bait or a snowman or something like that, a different presentation. It could be the difference from catching none or very few fish to maybe even having a red letter day. So on these heavily stocked waters, I really like to put 1 or 2 spods out after every bite. They swim around in massive shoals and they can quite easily clear you out. So by putting 1 or 2 spods out, you can sort of keep the fish in your area and hopefully keep the bites coming for a little bit longer. Just refresh the spot with a couple of spods and literally 10-15 minutes later it's romped off. Let's see if we can get him in the net and have a look at him. There's a couple of situations where I change over to zig rigs. One, if it's like super high pressure, bright skies, and you feel like you're seeing fish cruising and stuff like that. And secondly, a bit like now, where the morning bite time seems to have faded away a little bit, and the fish will naturally sort of swim up off the bottom. So I'm going to stick one out now and see if we can produce another bite. So this little common's sort of part of a 5 or 6 fish catch this morning in just a couple of hours. I hope this piece has given you a good insight into how I tackle busy day ticket lakes, and hopefully it put a few more fish on the bank for you guys.